Well, hey everybody, it's Doug Mystic Guy on Board Game Geek. I want to welcome you to another video episode. This is going to be a playthrough, but we're going to start with something a little bit different because looks like I have something new up here. And what would that be? Let's see. So, the game playthrough we're going to do, and I don't know if I'm going to do a full game through the end, but I'm at least going to do a few episodes and give you a really good idea how this game plays. If you've played Tales of the Arabian Nights, you're going to find quite a bit of familiarity here, but the theme is clearly different and there are a lot of different rules to it as well. But what just came from my Kickstarter in the mail was the expansion, the new expansion. So we're going to dig into that. This is going to be a little bit of an unboxing, and then we're going to set up the game, and that'll be our first episode. So let's start with looking at the new expansion called Swagman's Hope. So just as the box says, this adds a board for Australia specifically, as well as 350 new encounter cards. So again, it's just an addition to the game. You certainly cannot play one without the other, but it's pretty slick. It's got a nice big box. You know that the Agents of SMERSH box is rather big in and of itself. Now, as a Kickstarter backer, they also put in a, which I think is fantastic, and I hope that some other companies do this when their rules books in their initial run were not as quality as perhaps they needed to be an explanation. You know, like Myth. I hope that when Myth sends out the backer stuff, we get a updated rulebook. Anyway, they updated our rulebook. Very cool. So, in addition to, again, this was from the Kickstarter. There's also this piece that's for the Kickstarter backers, which talks about the new secret mission options, and also this new for Dr. Lobo, this new satellite thing where you can build a satellite and he can win the game alternatively. Plus, there's also a new henchman and this is, you know, the PlayStation cards for building that PlayStation. So there's that, and then of course there's the rulebook for Swagman's Hope itself, which is just a few pages. It just explains how it changes the game and how it sets up and what other things are in there. So yeah, there's a few things, a few changes, and the way I look at it, there's a couple things you could do or not do with the new rules, like the stranded deck. You don't have to have those in there. Anyway, and then you see there's some other additions to the game, making the game easier, top secret and UN limited token limits, things like that. Just additional rules. Then get to the cool stuff. Let's see here. What do we have here? Got some new agents to go with the game. I don't think that's all of them, actually. Let me pull it. Yeah, I guess. Well, that's the gambler. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to take this out a little bit at a time. But here is Agent Fox. You see that her basic stats here, and I don't know. We may end up playing with one of these in our playthrough. But she starts in Japan, and she's got new special ability. I love the artwork on these. Pretty fantastic. The only thing I didn't like about putting the character on the back is it's hard to randomize when you're trying to pick random characters, but that's a minor quibble. You also get Agent Zero, Moses Calderon, and he's got, again, I'm not going through all their special abilities and everything, I'm just showing you what kind of comes in the box. And then you get Agent GRX, Grant Massey, another James Bond looking type character. So it comes with 3 new characters to play, 3 new stands for them, and then some new tokens. This, you see that there's a new response group for Australia, and the Australia thing is really the meat and potatoes of it. And here's the group reaction sheet for that. Let me pull that back a little bit. So there's the response groups there for Australia. New group reaction sheet. I haven't opened them yet, but here's the new secret mission cards. Dangers on the Beach. These are the Australia cards for the characters. Oh, there was one more. This was one of these, and I don't remember which one it is specifically. It was a Kickstarter one. There's 3 in the game. This is an extra one. Agent SH6 Sheena Mars. So yeah, so 4 new agents in the Kickstarter edition, maybe 5. I might be missing one. Okay, and then the 5th agent. so there was more than 3 in there. There's 5, and then Vinnie Carter, who appears to be a master of archery. So he gets to start with 4 advanced skills. That's pretty good. Now, there's also another kind of bad guy, and I haven't read everything about how this works yet. I'm going through the rules still for the setup. But you can see that there is also the Aussie Butcher, special villain in Australia. And then here's the additional tokens for the king of the game, and of course parts for them, just extra parts that you might need in the game. And I wanted to show you that that wasn't the only token stand or stands. Here's the others, the other three. These ones might be the expansion ones. I'm not sure which is which, but it doesn't matter. You can probably acquire them anyway. Then the big change is right here. We add this board now, and this becomes the intelligence portion of the board, and this basically takes over in the corner where Australia is and gives you a broader Australia to explore with special encounters and everything, just like the other regions in the world. So again, I wasn't going to do a huge setup or unboxing. I don't like unboxing videos that much, to be honest with you. They're cool, get to learn what's in it, but they're also a little rather boring. But to me, like I said once, even my own are boring. This is the book. So in the Book of Encounters for Swagman's Hope, you can see there's, I don't know, like I said, there's 300 and some odd more encounters for the game, in addition to the big giant book, which we will be using for this, for the main game. So that being said, we're going to get this set up on the board and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, here we are. We're set up, ready to play. Whew, this game takes up a lot of board space. We're going to have to kind of cut things into sections when I'm going through the game turn so you can see everything that's going on. But as you can see, we got the board set up in the middle of the table. Just off to the right there, I have all of our intelligence and location tokens. The location intelligence portion of the board is on the main board is no longer used. The one on the Australia board is used, and you can see that there. In addition, you can see that I've placed the tokens that are appropriate for the setup for the Australia board here. These are these purple dead drop tokens on the open cities. There's a red intel token on Sydney. Sydney unfortunately has a closed airport. There are 3 tokens in Swagman's Hope, a red United or UN transport token, and 2 of the special red intel tokens that are face up, so we know what they are. And then there's also a couple of red intel tokens off to the side of the board, or dead drop tokens rather, off to the side of the board that may come into play later. And typically they have like decent stuff on them. Okay, so that's up there now. Up just a little bit. Let me see if I can do this without making the thing go crazy. You can see Dr. Lobo's board up there. When you're playing with Australia board and you have the Swagman's Hope set up the way we have it, you start in a 3-player game, which is what I'm going to be playing. You start with Dr. Lobo starts at 2 on his track, which is kind of bad for us, but I hope that's not going to make it too hard. We'll see. Having not played this expansion before, it might be interesting. But let's continue. So, way over here are all the cards. You can see that there's now we're using a smaller deck of cards because we're going to be using the book. As you can see, these are the cards for when you're not using the book, or you can use a combination of those cards and the book. But I chose just to use the cards for the main encounter book, which, if you haven't seen it before, is a beast. Here it is. Look at that. It's thick. It's got like 1,100 encounters in here. It's pretty cool. And we're going to be drawing from those as opposed to drawing from the larger ones. When I normally play, I usually let the player choose. You know, you can pick one of the draw cards. You can play from the book, but with space constraints being what they are, I just chose to play with the cards for the book. Okay, then on the far side here, I'm going to pause and kind of go over and focus in on that area right there. Okay, right here you get to see all of the bad guys. So we got the 4 main henchmen for Dr. Lobo that we have to defeat: Mr. Big, Pierre, Darling, and Fedor Maximov. But you also see I'm playing, man, I'm going all balls to the walls on this one. I'm playing with just about everything. So we also have the expansion villain, the Shadow, which may end up, or could end up taking the place of one of the other villains when we encounter them. We also have the Gambler, which is specifically from Swagman's Hope expansion, and the Aussie Butcher, also from Swagman's Hope expansion. And they all have, I'm not going to read everything on them. Maybe when we encounter them for the first time I will read their card. But that is that's the setup for them. I mean, we got a lot to deal with here. It's going to be quite a crazy game. I expect to make some mistakes on this one, guys. This game, while it's not incredibly deep in rules. It is still, there's a lot going on, so we'll hope for the best here. But anyway, let's take a look at the heroes that we chose now. Okay, first up is Agent U00, Nika Shizuka. She basically is, she's going to start in the Alps. She does start with a UN, oops, I missed that. See, I already missed something. She starts with a UN transport token. She's got Resolve of 4. Her ability is she starts with the watch status. So what does the watch status do? So these status cards give special abilities. This is the one that she has currently. It says, before rolling dice in each one of your tests, you may look at the top villain card and either discard it or keep it on top. Discard to reroll all dice in a hand-to-hand failed test. So that's that card. And that's her starting ability, and then again she starts with the UN transport token, which I just gave her. Now I also picked weapon use and piloting driving for her advanced skills. Why did I do that? Well, because she's pretty good in athletics and hand-to-hand. She's terrible in deception. She's okay in perception and spycraft. So she seems like our adventuring fighter type. So we are going to be playing her as such. You'll notice the theme. I decided to do something like a little Charlie's Angels thing. I got 3 of the female, well, 3 of the 4 female characters for the game in play for this this session. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, next up is Agent SH6, Sheena Mars. She's from the expansion. The other 2 are not. They're from the base game. You can see that she's pretty. I got to pick her points, so I made her pretty good in spycraft and deception, and I gave her the skills, the advanced skills down there of seduction and gambling and luck. Her ability is Sheena selects any ocean location. Well, that's not a really ability, but she gets to start in some oceanic space or ocean space. So yeah, that's basically her special ability, where she gets to pick her stats. She gets 7 points to spend. Now I also have to give them their location cards for the secret missions, but I haven't done that yet. I'll do that before we start the game for sure. But that doesn't matter. It just means those are when they have secret missions. If they go there, they get a reward for completing their secret mission by completing something in that spot. And then lastly, for our heroes, we have Callie Dagger, Agent L39. She's really good in persuasion. Pretty average in everything else. She's at least got a point in everything except for spycraft, which is good. So for her advanced skills, we gave her stealth and electronics, which should help her out a lot. In addition, she starts with 2 UN transport tokens, which she's there, and her special ability, she can share those. Also, I need to get her the modified car. She starts with a modified vehicle. So I might end up swapping out the electronics and driving, piloting to Callie. Though let me get out the card with the modified car and see what that does for her. Okay, here's the modified card. It says that you may move up to 3 spaces each turn. Now that's not using ocean spaces and piloting spaces or flights, obviously. It says once discard to pass a failed encounter that in any way involves a car chase or being tailed by a car. Interpret ambiguities in your favor. Okay. So we're going to have to make just a little more room on the board still. I'll put that right there for her. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to swap out the electronics advanced skill. You can pick which ones you want. And give her the piloting driving skill. That might be more interesting. It seems more suited to her character with her special modified car. Okay, again, the only thing I have to do with them is give them their starting locations for their secret missions. And then we'll be ready to play. Now, just briefly touching on gameplay, it's pretty simple actually. You're going to move. So first thing you're going to do is rest, which allows you to recover. The things you can do during your movement phase is rest. You can take a move. Normally that's 2, and you saw that Callie Dagger has 3 with her car. You can also move via train and plane, and then you have an encounter phase. You resolve. That means you encounter the space, which means we get to go to the space that you ended up in. You get to draw an encounter there, and we get to go to the big giant book of encounters and have those encounters. Now those could be in Australia or anywhere on the main board. So that's what we do during the encounter phase, and there's going to be rewards and weird events that come up. It's completely story-driven, random craziness. And then we go to the villain phase, where we draw a villain card. Then we check for Intel overflow. If there's too much Intel on the board that we haven't collected, we lose it. That is a bad thing. Now, I've actually had to set up a secondary table for the book. And while I want to do this as steady as possible, I've been debating taking this off the tripod, the camera off the tripod, to be able to film this because of the massive size of the board. I'm going to try and do most things right here in this space and see if that will work for us. I do have the dice bowl and the dice bag. Now, in here are special dice that you get to use depending on your skill level on a test. So if basically everybody starts with this one die. That's the default die. But if you have the ability to draw extra dice, say 1 or 2, you're going to reach in here and you're going to draw out a die. And that die has better stuff on it in most cases. So in this case, you see that the guns are successes. In one case, you're going to take an injury, or actually 2. There's 2 faces with injuries, and then there's basically a failure spot. The main die has one, as you can see, has 1 success, 2 injuries, and a bunch of failures. So you definitely want to try and get more successes, more dice to get more successes on there. And there are each die in there. The bag is a little different and a little better. I can't remember which one's the best. I think it's the red one, the red or the black. I can't remember. Anyway, we also need to. Let me see. I think this one's pretty good. The black one. It's got high injuries, but it's got a lot of successes on it. So it's kind of a winner take all type thing. You either get hurt or you get it. And then we also have the movement die, which tells us now. Yeah, you're going, wow, that looks really bizarre, but it's pretty simple actually. And you'll see that in play. But this allows you to move 3, 2. So since we're playing with everything, we'll play with this 2. This is going to take the place of the base movement. So, but for Callie and her modified car, she can always choose to move up to 3 spaces instead of doing this. This will also allow you to know if you can get extra movement out of like this with this airport +1. Allows you to move 1 after you land. Pretty cool. Anyway, we'll do that. And of course, there's a 6-sided dice for random stuff that we might need to roll a 6-sided die for. Okay, well, that is basically it for the setup. There is the Australia board that we're going to be using in the expansion. I really hope you enjoy this. It is going to be fun. It is going to be rather complicated, but I think you'll enjoy the game. If you're a fan of Tales of Arabian Nights, I'm going to say that these are very similar in many ways, at least in the storytelling aspect and how you go to basically an encyclopedia book of encounters and find the encounter of the place that you're visiting and what can happen there. It's going to be crazy things. You really enjoy it. Anyway, how do we win and lose? Well, we win by defeating all of Dr. Lobo's henchmen, and also by completing completing the track, the Intel tokens. We're going to gather Intel tokens. You can see on the track, the higher up the track for Dr. Lobo we go, the harder it becomes to defeat him. And if he ever reaches the 9 space, which you'll see how that advances, it advances through the use of villain cards. If we ever reach the 9 space, we lose. Now, also, we have to have, if we decide to take him on, we've got to have, see that 8 space, for example, we have to have all of that intelligence, the appropriate intelligence, turned up in our intelligence pool, or get lucky, and turn up ones that are not face up yet. And you'll see how that works as well. They oftentimes start face up, but they always start face down usually, but there are cards and events and things that allow you to turn the Intel tokens face up. And those tokens are what you see on Dr. Lobo's card there. You see guns and nuclear symbols and adventuring symbols and radios, and that's what we need to defeat Dr. Lobo in his lair. So also, again, if we defeat all of his henchmen, then that's going to help us with a victory as well. So that is basically it, guys. That's going to be the overview for now, and we're going to get started next time with the full playthrough. I hope that was helpful, just getting you an idea of how it's set up. As you can see, you get a lot in this game, guys. It's really worth it. Now, again, all of my stuff is, I got both of these through the Kickstarter, so I do have more stuff than the average if you bought it retail. And I don't believe that Swagman's Hope is available retail yet. It just got to me as a Kickstarter. But anyway, I've been wanting to do one of these playthroughs for this game for quite some time, so this seemed like a good opportunity. Let's get it done and have some fun and enjoy the playthrough.